up. Their win condition today is eliminations. They're playing the right type of Fortnite game. They need to play the other side of it, though, and actually have an impact in their zones and lobby. And Nos is by himself too, walking around right now. But yeah, Hiriachi needs elims. They're doing it off the start of the day. Need to make sure they keep it up.
Mannequins Coming Alive is totally an 80s movie reference right then and there. And now we have no O'Reilly Reason and Vidil. It's so interesting, though. I thought this trio would be able to push out to coast. I thought they would go back into being more aggressive, being more that ruthless trio, you know, taking out those legions of players. But I don't know who is this? Who is this team? Like, I want to know who is this team.
I'll tell you what I was talking about emotions before, right? These guys feel really good and they're happy when they're pushing teams and it works out. When that doesn't happen, you start to get negative emotions associated with that push, right? Now today, they're playing patience and they're getting points. You get points, you're happy. They're just riding those emotions, and now the patience is coming naturally. So very emotional team. What they're doing is making them very, very happy. They know it's working. They're getting points. They're going to keep doing it.
They're going to the gym. You know, this is like their second week. They're seeing the abs kind of pop out a little bit. They're like, okay, maybe I'll stick with this new lifestyle. And at the same time, I'll stick with this diet. But these guys, they love to eat. And right now they're just holding on. You know, they're just, hey, they're calorie deficient. They're making sure they're leaning out, because when they get lean, they are dangerous and they are mean.
Other side of it, we're watching it. Way's actually in the distance. They also like fighting a lot, but the patience sometimes comes at an offbeat, like a weird time. Sometimes too patient when they should be aggressive. They're still learning that type of game, and they're actually very similar, I would say, to Vidil and O'Reilly and Reason when it comes to, you know, approaching mid and end game. But we'll see. They're kind of in the same spot. Maybe they can also bring it up. 7th place, rolling into. They're looking really good throughout the day. The aggression hasn't been turned on completely, but you know, they're very consistent at just making games. 2/3 back to back from Nebs, Bubak, and Waze rolling through actually gets them all the way into the top 10. If they can get another third, I mean, lucky number 3 for this trio. They're looking real good. Meanwhile, ForZero, Nate, Tayson, I mean, there's so much to talk about with these guys. Top 3 right now. You know, lots of doubts in the preseason, lots of doubts while we were watching them from qualifiers to heats. They fixed everything. And once again, they're surviving. I have their win condition just kind of written down, as we talked about it last game a little bit as well, Sancho, for the tournament. They need to start owning these games, making it their own. What are the names we've been talking about in the last few games? We said Trulix a lot. We said Savage. We're talking about Hen. It feels like, once again, ForZero, Tayson, and Nate are paint on the wall. Definitely there, but they're not the talk of the town so far. They need to be that way. They need to make these flashy plays if they want to win this tournament.
They can do it. 22 elims in the heat stage.
Yeah.
It's in there. It's in there. It's in there. Mappy, Red Rush, Asterios, not kind of having the same success that they had in the previous day. Slowly slipping out of the top 3. Right now coming in 8th, Shio. It's just right now their style is about playing center. So they're coming out of the Cami split. Now Andreas, the Savage, and Rescard now back in full force. They were able to get the reboot card and bring them back their trio mates. So that's looking good. It's slowing down though. So they may not have strong weapons, or they may not have all the mats and resources. So expect this trio to be a little bit more aggressive. Marine is now sending in the Sting Post to open up their rotation to slow down the peak. And so what you gotta do, man, you gotta send in those stink bows just to open up a little bit. That's gonna give the signal for Refsguard and Jordan Savage to rotate through to Lazy Lake, which has been a battleground in this tournament.
These guys have to have extra health or something. They survived so many crazy situations. Refsguard going down off spawn. They have to travel to get the reboot. They do it in enough time and then have a chance to actually have some type of loadout. You're right, Sancho, it's kind of weak, but what does this mean for Refsguard being rebooted? This trio allowed to play this game. They're in first, Sancho, right? With them alive, full forces. This mean Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky, they have a tough time, you know, kind of taking hold of this game. They're on screen right now too. This is perfect. You know, they're gonna have a tough time kind of taking over first if that team's alive. Same thing for ForZero, Nate, and Tayson. They'll have a tough time if Savage is alive. It might even look like Trulex, Queasy, and Jerky might not stay this way the entire game. Snazy's here. This is Southside, and Alex's home. It's been invaded by multiple teams. And now they're looking to just fight one off for the moment. I'm not sure how far this fight will go, but you never know right now. These things are still being thrown in.
This is a wrestling match that's getting sweaty and is getting dirty right now between the old guard and the new. This Trulix's trio is a newly formed right now. Trulix, of course, playing last season with Pink and Stormy, or I believe it was Stompy. They had a fantastic run. Trulix arming that RPG. Jerky and Queasy, of course, forming with their respective trios here. Queasy playing with Rasco and Paco. And wow, I mean, for them to be able to hold on right now, look at this. There's a 3-trio kind of standoff right now with Fast Roxy, Ardent, and Pizza coming from Misty. And then you have this team from Camp Cod. You know, Snaze's trio, they're going to want this fight because they're low on Storm Surge. Because you come from Camp Cod, you know this is your opportunity to get those tags in.
Wow, Queasy's still finding a way in these bases with 2 teams around them. Shoot off on another way far away on a hill. That's crazy. That's huge for the tags as well. And man, I wish Ardent, Pizza, and Fast Roki had a theme song. It feels like every time there's a third party coming through, these guys roll in with a jingle and they're the ones to cause chaos every single time, whether it's at Lazy Lake, now it's down below at Camp Cod. I always have some type of song playing in my head when I see Fast Roki on screen. They just make things crazy.
It's basically, that's a third party, right? That is what they're, that's a third party. So that right now is just being so aggressive all over the place, and Lazy Lake is where they like to push on through. So they're seeing some opportunities to get some tags here on the storm line edge. Red Rush in center, zone is pushing them a little bit further. This is very going to be interesting in-game, Shio, if it goes down to Misty Meadows Lake. We see Zako's trio already setting up an opportunity here. We've seen when it was here in Lazy Lake yesterday, Jules was able to hold on to height there in game 4, but there was 3 different height retakes and they lost it, and Pizza is actually getting gobbled right now. Down he goes. Wolfies is getting eliminated. Elo Cracks again eliminating the feed. Now this engagement is opening up just a little bit more, just like Pistachio Nut just opens up a little bit more. Before you know it, they're going to be able to gobble that up and get some confirmation and some 2 Elim points.
Fast Roki down, the third party trio not going to be able to operate today. For this game, the one trio to watch has to be Red Rushes. They ended up coming second all the way on low ground, played it really well. They're kind of the kings of navigating Lazy Lake, but what it looks like right now is they're actually under Surge. This is going to be a very crucial pump shot map. He has to hit. Surge actually goes away. You can back up, my friend. No! At the last second, Surge stopped 70 players. Mappy overstepped. The trio that clutched out this zone yesterday is going to be 1 man down. Mappy is also most consistent in terms of surviving and being able to support his teammates too. He's not going to be there. This is looking tough on day number 2 for Red Rush.
And that was a big refresher elimination right there for Andretta's trio, knowing that they had a reboot teammate. Now they could take his loot, Mappy's loot, and be able to move on through right now. That was always a question mark for Red Rush. If you're going to play center, you're going to have to hit your tags. You're going to have to find people in your rotations, because if not, Storm Surge will be knocking on your door to collect that build.
This is actually tough, I feel like, for Savage and Jenner and Refsguard. They like wide open low ground that doesn't really switch layers. Their lifeline for this entire tournament and their playstyle is low ground. If they don't have a consistent low ground type of terrain to play, they're going to be in trouble for games. Lazy, I feel like it's kind of like that with all the builds, the buildings, and the fact that it can go to the mountains and the river. They might be looking to play a little bit more mid. They're kind of trying to take it over from from Red Rush, it looks like right now. And they know they're, at a man advantage, 3 versus 2, but no. They're going to sit up. They're going to build up. They know that low ground might be a little bit tough. Actually, still trying to hunt down Red Rush and Exterios. Not going to find it just yet. But yeah, for this zone, they're going to have to switch up their play style. They're going to be aliens in terms of how they're playing. Very used, though, to being height. They're going to be in situations, not bad players in other spots. And there it is. The Red Rush elimination comes in. Going to have so many more materials as well to work with. Once again, though, it will be a very different game plan we see this game.
The game plan will all determine where Zone 4 goes. Zone 4 is really close to them. They could work through these kind of natural buildings, the ones that are set here, and find their way in. Now we're looking at Tayson, Nate, and 4ZR, who's made their way in from sweaty stands here on a very dead side rotation, considering that Misty Meadows trios have already rotated through. We already saw Pizza way down there, and it pushes south. So Andretta's trio has some work to do. There's a couple of trios along their way, but Tayson's, 4ZR, and Nate don't have to do any work. But Shio, look at how much of the aquatic lake is eating up Zone 4, and we already seen when it comes to the FNCS wow. I cannot wait where this in-game goes. I mean, I'm trying to think what happened last season. There was Staten Island's reference that I remember. There was so much zaniness going down. It was
too crazy last season. And for 4ZR's true, it already looks like they have water in their lungs before they dive into the lake. They're down on HP. They're looking bad, pretty much like Waze right now on HP too. Has to dive into some minis and not a flop or a med kit. It's fine. But yeah, for a lot of trios, they have to be very careful at how much damage they're taking getting to the zone. Sancho is absolutely correct. Once you're here, it's going to take you double the builds to be able to survive. You have to build on the floor. And then every single opening there's going to be even more eyes looking at you. There's no buildings, no terrain in the way.
So that will say, Queasy's trio, known to take height. If they could take it here in this in-game, that is a really strong probability for them to walk away with the victory royale and catch up to Refsguard and Dredda and Savage.
That's all it is right now. People trying to catch up to Savage, but Savage has to go down alongside Dredda and Refsguard for that to happen. No O'Reilly, Vidil, and Reason. Mid-ground this time, I don't think Reason wants to get headshot, bow sniped again. They're looking to play defense and make sure all three are alive. They're so good when they're a trio. Looking at the waterfalls on the right. They're on a higher layer. It's tough for them to do their classic box-to-box beam, but they'll find a way. Bad sniper on the receiving end. They're going to be really cornered down here. Esti, this is their home turf. Sancho, they were born in Lazy Lake, and right now they're getting molded by Noah Riley, Vidil, and Reason.
Yeah, it looks like all the tourists from Lazy Lake are coming in and kind of changing the neighborhood that they're known to. You know, if you're like, the neighborhood was never the same. Everything's different now. I wish it was back in the old days. But those old days, everything's been upgraded and everything's been infiltrated by all the people that are moving on through and Waze right now. 22 below has some work to do to be able to survive right now. Nebs, Bubak, and Waze have been doing a fantastic time of being in the middle of the packet in-game, just getting there, but barely one above. And so many people have to go down. 14, 13 people now, and now they're dipping into the rest of the hard mats. They're on the rope, Shio, and they have Gray on their layer.
Still have a chance to punch back and fight. Wade's looking for any shots left and right. Neb's actually going down on the backside. Bubak will have to try to make amends for it, but zone's coming in, so they actually can't even get to the loot or the body. Wade's looking on the right side. Wolfie's looking down bad on the bill. Switches to wood, back to metal. Wolfie's trying to go for it, and Dredda might have been knocked. Queasy also down to the Zaiku. Everything is turning on its head. And it's not even rotating yet. It's not even closing in half and half. Hey, did these guys even reload? What is the max size for Waze and Bubak? The shots are not stopping. Slender down. Wolfie's low HP. They picked up another jam sites here now. The edge of the zone is just catastrophic for any team down below. Waze and Bubak are not holding anything back.
All the teams that were on that struggle southern rotation are now breathing sigh of relief. And Reason O'Reilly, thank you, get up there and show that Bloomy's now being taken over. That is a huge play. And Noah O'Reilly and Reason are back up into the sky, and they are soaring. They may be soaring to the top of the leaderboard here after this match. That was a big, just an alpha ramp right out to and Bloomy's trio. I've been there before. I know what it feels like to be ramped up to. It's a scary sight, especially when you have Noah, Reason, and the deal going up to your door.
Man, I was about to talk about it in a second when we went back to Bloomy, but I was going to say they have had height in other games. Their weakness is literally God ramps. There's been multiple games. I think it was Trulex who God read them yesterday. They're on height. They're going to get bow sniped or something. This time, Reason, Noah Riley, and Vidil, I think they understood height wasn't being that active. Bloomy, a little bit new to looking at how to actually play it. And boom, they're up there. It looks good. 4-0 on Nate and Taysom, though. Once again, lost at sea. This is just so bad. They're the only trio all the way on the backside, too. What a horrible situation for them to be in so far. So close to the top of the leaderboard, too. Can't go down here. Nate trying to clutch it up. 6 HP. It looks like it's the 9th zone for him right now, but the moving zones haven't even started. Every team is shooting at him. I count at least 15 ARs. Somehow, he still finds a little bit of levity in the situation, a little bit of peace. He'll survive for a bit, but he's on borrowed time.
Nate, he's gonna have to turn into a Houdini to survive that max pull, because he's gonna have to go through the entire lobby. We'll keep an eye on the feed, but now all eyes are going back to our first place team of Refsguard, Dredda, and Savage. Zone thankfully pulls their way. Nate, run is over. The Magician could not get out of that trap. Now, Refsguard and Dredda Savage, just focus in here. Let's tell you the gravity of the situation here. Throughout the entire time, they've been getting as many placements here, getting just enough elims just to be able to stay ahead of the push from Queasy, to stay ahead from Hen and Tayson. Now Tayson's gone. Now Hen is gone. They just have to avoid Queasy here. And look at how much damage Noah Riley and the Deal and Reason are. Over 1,000. Now this is where they traditionally are in the early game, but now they're doing it at the end game.
And this is one of the easiest zones to maintain height. So many top buildings, so many old builds to connect to. Noah Riley, Vidil, and Reason have a huge tarp they can operate off of. No one should be able to really take it down. They could get snuck on from the back in these earlier zones. If they make it to zone 8, I feel like they can't be stopped. Meanwhile, though, on low, Stormy right above Savage. Snazy also moving in. Floki rolling through. Forzier gone and Hen is gone. That's 3rd and 4th place down. There's a lot of room for people to move up.
Second place.
Jerky can't. Second place is on a lifeline right now. One last teammate left alive. Height is just punishing everyone. Trulex, you have to stay alive for this placement, my friend. Your tournament run might be at stake over here on the 3rd game of the 2nd day. He's looking to see what he does next. Zone actually does pull away. It's all of the Trulex to hold on to spot number 2 right now. He's not gonna be able to get the revive. Meanwhile, Vidil's still popping all the way up top on height. Joe Shadow moving down below. Refsguard and Savage is still ahead of zone.
Ahead of zone and looking healthy. That's exactly where the position that there would be. Every time they find success at in-game, they're right then and there. And look at it. All the pressure's going down right now from Noah Riley and Vidil and Reason here. Trulex is on the backside. Trulex has to hold on. Trulex is in second place without any kind of HP to med back up to full health here. But now all eyes are on this new form trio. It feels like they're just changed their ways, being patient. Let's go back into the great. The deal and Reason now on high. Savage and Dread and Revsguard working through those buildings like you pointed out here, just giving them a little bit more time, a little bit more placement points, and now we're in the top 10.
And this is where low ground kind of gets tricky. Cars in the way, buildings you can't really break through in time either.
No builds.
Savage, no builds, nothing to really reform in terms of trees. They split up a little bit of mats. Minis also dropped down. It's looking like a 3v3 between Refsguard and Dreda Savage. Reason, Noah Riley, Vidil at the very end, but they still have to survive. Thomas HD alive as a solo all the way on the backside. Andalex actually going down from up top. The server's getting squeezed right now. And Dreda, Refsguard, Savage are waiting, and boom!
This is big.
Big shots coming through. Shadow, Joe, and Stompy kind of stuck on the left corner. Savage, though, is caught out. He was too far, and he goes down. It's up to Andretta and Refsguard to carry that torch to first place all the way. Meanwhile, Zyku taking that storm right from the backside. Low ground is a maze, a labyrinth, and you can't just hug the right wall. There's no solution to this. You have to react to everything going on in front of you. Noah Riley is getting close and personal, dropping for height, looking for box-to-box fights. Shakeoffs going down. They still have mass to survive.
Vidil, Noah Riley are the dogs, are sending down there to get some big bites on the low ground. They're going up for some air, and they're diving back into the mess that's on this low ground. Opportunity here for another victory royale. Stompy gets bopped. Here we go. This is it right here, Shio. It's a top 4 situation, and I'm just taking a look, and I believe Andretta is still holding on. This is going to be a big game for them, but if Noah Riley, Vidil, and Reason could get some eliminations and the victory royale, they're going to be able to get into that top 3.
A slow burning game going to max brightness. Noah Riley, Vidil, and Reason are all still alive. 3 different teams left, 8 players, and they have 3. A majority of the pie so far. They're looking to drop down in just a bit, but there's a big retake coming through. Is that Fury randomly going for height? You can't do this against the best aggro team. They're looking to take him down, but no. Vidil gets clapped. Reason gets also completely brapped, but there it is. Fury gets taken down. Now Noah Riley is dropping to the floor. It looks like, yes, there is one team down below. Andretta still surviving as a duo. 2v2. We got another matchup to watch in just a sec. The zone's actually pulling up towards the hill. Noah Riley in advantage, but he's getting prepped to dive below. Taking a big breath of big shields before he hits that water. He goes straight down. No, not yet. Stink Bulls from Andretta. They have the Elam. Siphon comes through. Yes. Reason's up top with a med kit. Refsguard has the last tick of the zone. Reason eating the meat right now too. He's going straight for that drop down. It's not going to be enough for the heals to survive. Reason, Vidil, Noah Riley. Textbook game. That was absolutely crazy to watch.
Was that 10 elims, 17 total for that trio? Was that and the victory royale? Yeah. I thought that was going to be a top 3. They're going to the moon. They're going to the moon.
No, they're going to a different galaxy. They're going to a different. We don't know where they're going, man. Yo, see, Levin Reese, give us an astronomical chart. Where's this trio going, real man? Show me the desk. Show me the desk.
Bro, we're full warp, dude. We're going to a different galaxy, a different time zone, a different timeline. It is just not even in the same realm any longer. And by the way, boys, Vidil's trio, that's a new elimination record. That's right. We're seeing action like you would not believe. Reese and Levin, I just cannot understand how these games just don't stop. It is just constant action, constant blows going back and forth. I don't know if my little baby heart can take it.
I don't think my big boy heart can take it. Like, this was an incredible game from these guys. Record breaking actually for FNCS finals overall. 17 eliminations, the most amount of points in history so far. This is something that we do not see often. And we've called this yesterday and today, saying that these guys are going to pop off with a 10, 15, 20 elimination game. Insane.
Look, last season, they looked like they were going to take the FNCS championship going into that final game, and things didn't go their way. But now they are back with vengeance. They had the highest point game of yesterday. They have the highest point game of not just today, but ever in an FNCS finals. Like, this is ridiculous stuff. These guys are going to shoot all the way up the standings. They came into this game in 10th. We'll see where they are when we get to it, but a phenomenal game from these guys.
And it's a very different game, right? When you can dethrone that #1 team going into the game. I mean, without Hen, Janice, and Chapix, I feel like everyone else just had breathing room, right? They were just allowed to operate without this like pressure, Levin.
Yeah, 100% right. Hen, Janice, and Chapix went down early, and we'll get to show it to you, right? Because the key thing for this team was the fact that coming into today, right, or coming into yesterday, people were scared about this team here, High Chris Vortex, who are landing on them. And people said, if these guys can't sort of get rid of them off spawn, there's going to be big problems. But you'll see here, off spawn, moments before disaster. Screenshot this, right? We all know this feeling. You're gliding in, you see your enemy has picked up a weapon, and you're still gliding in. There's no hope for you there, right? And although Chapix eventually is able to pick up a weapon, at that point you could argue it's almost too late, because you can see High Chris there is able to go and do significant damage to his teammates. Similar thing here for Janice. Janice here, he lands in his building, he thinks to the chest, oh, I'm fine and dandy. No, you have Vortex here, he has a primal shotgun, and he gets Janice down to 31 HP. What can Janice do at that point? He's so low that it's just going to be incredibly difficult for him. And the big thing is like, this was the question we all had. Off spawn, what happens for this trio, right? Yesterday, they were able to avoid it a lot of the time, but if they're just 50-50, and we know what Fortnite is sometimes. Fortnite, sometimes you land, you don't get the weapons you need, and you will just go down like this. If this continues to happen, they're not going to be able to back-to-back.
Yeah, and this is going to be tough. You know, we did see them lose a single game yesterday, so this could be their one today, and if it's only one, that's fine, but they can't keep doing this at all. They can't keep losing the games off spawn like this, and that is, like you said, the issue of a 50-50 play early on. You can see Hen eventually being picked up, and that is the end of it for them. So you can see that they have actually ended up moving down the leaderboard down until 7th. That's where they are right now. So they're going to have to play a little bit of a catch-up game coming up forward. But some of these teams that have been popping off, Rescard and Drea Savage, still holding on so strong. I know.
It's so silly. Like, every single game, we see some ridiculous stuff happen, and yet they remain first place every single time. Phenomenal stuff for them. But look, Noah Riley, Reason, Vidil, sitting in 4th place. They were 10th last time. That game, 3 victory hours so far. The most of any other team. Like, this is insane from these guys.
Yeah, it was disappointing that they had so many not so great games yesterday. Like, after their big victory royale, they really had the other 5 games that just weren't really anything. So today they are playing serious catch-up, but already with 3 games left, being 4th, if they keep playing the way that they're playing today, this is going to be an incredible finish.
I just feel like Sancho West, like, his prediction is just kind of echoing my mind. I just remember back before the final started, Sancho was like, guys, you know what? Calling in now, Savage's trio, game 12, they're going to clutch it up for the whole champion. No, apparently Sancho was just like, what he meant to say was they're going to clutch up every game at all the times, at all the points in the competition. My goodness, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. Fortnite fam, we hope you're enjoying all of the action. That's 3 games down. We only have 3 games to go. Now, I know what you're thinking, Zeke. Let's get back aboard the battle bus. You're right. In just a little bit. I know, but listen, you're not going to miss a single thing. We're going to start game number 4, aka game number 10 across the whole competition during the break. So you're not going to miss a single thing. When that timer hits 0, Shaw Wager, Sancho West, they'll be there. They'll pick it up and we'll keep the ball rolling. So go quickly, find water, come back, and we'll keep this going here from the FNCS in Europe. See you guys in just a second.
Welcome back to the European FNCS Finals. It's day number 2. We're on game number 10 of 12, and our previous FNCS champions on your screen right now, Hen, Janice, Chapix, finally allowed to play this game. They've been contesting off spawn 24/7, all 10 games. They've lost 2 so far. The last one we just watched, but this time, if you're watching during the break, that fight ended in what, 3 seconds, Sancho?
And more importantly, they've been chilling in their lobbies respectively for about 25 minutes or so. So we all know that game of time to kind of chill out for a little bit, reset. We've been saying countless times, when they get out of Craigie Cliffs, they have the potential to win it all with a victory royale and double-digit eliminations. So now we're getting into it. We have 3 games left here of the FNCS EU before we crown either a defending champion or we crown a 3-time champion in Tayson, Nate, and Tayson's going to be that one right there. But the whole thing about this right now is, what kind of games going forward do these trios need? And Jonah Resgard and Savage, they don't need anything special. They just got to hold on, keep getting to end game, trust the process. That's all they have to do. Now, for people like Badil, Noah Riley, and Reason, who have been on a terror, making their way up, they just have to now slow it down just a little bit more. I don't know. I can't get a pulse on that team. It's like a team I've never seen before, you know?
They have 3 VRs, and today we're watching them, and I feel like we're kind of getting tricked. Their entire game plan has been good, but they've gone down at 27th place. They've gone down at 16th place as well. They're a very flip-floppy team. Every time they win, Sancho, their next game, they don't get that many points. So we just saw them win another game, right? Game number 9 rolling in. And now for game 10, if the pattern continues, they're going to be looking at a game with no points again. They have to break this curse if they want to make it all the way up top on the scene. Chulak, Squeezy, and Jerky 2 have been attempting to be curse breakers today. On day number 1, in the first 6 games, they had so many good positions on height. They ended up getting taken over. It was tough. It was rough for them overall. Today now, they're in 2nd place. They're right behind this trio on your screen, Savage, Andretta, and Refsguard. They've had a great day of games so far, but they've also been a little bit flip-floppy. They have a win, 17th place. It's looking kind of weird. Everyone right now, this game matters so much. They have to be very consistent.
What's on the line is life-changing money. Hundreds and thousands of dollars for every single trio that we saw here are playing with that on their top of their minds. Every moment matters for them. Every build, every call out, every engagement's going to matter for them in these next 3 games. I can't imagine feeling the pressure. The only thing I've had that's close was playing in a local video game store. That's it. And my prize was a $20 gift card. So hey, that was the top of my prime, and I can't imagine playing for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That 1.3 million total dollar prize pool when it comes to Europe. $300,000 for the trio who's rolling in first place. Squeezy, Trulex, and Jerky could be that trio, but once again, they cannot afford to make any mistakes from here on out. Those last 3 games, they kind of shape exactly how your entire tournament run looks. If you're behind, you have a big chance to get ahead. If you're ahead, you have to play defense. And these guys are caught in between, Sancho. They're ahead of the rest of the lobby, but behind Titans, they can't seem to shake down completely in these games. These rotations have to be perfect, and the end game has to be crisp.
And they absolutely earned their spot. They're going against the Andalexes of the world. They're going up against an up-and-comer in Jules right now, getting tagged on their rotation. So they're clawing their way, trying to hold on and avoid anybody that's trying to pull them down and slip them. Now we're talking about movement. The deal, Noah Riley and Reason, 6 places they moved up. They've had 2 back-to-back games that moved them up their leaderboard, and look at their strategy. They've just totally changed. And, you know, this kind of reminds me of, you know, at Rose where we're watching like Unknown, and where all the question was, what would Unknown look like in in-game? If Unknown down there in the NA, what will he do if he just slow down, be patient, that chaotic energy, that be able to box fight anybody? He was doing some things in the past that were just phenomenal. The same thing like as well, like Face Sway, right? What would Sway look like if you kind of got to in-game? Well, we're seeing right here a game that they just flip-flop everything, the script. They were getting like these 10 elim games, right? In the early game. Now they're getting those 10 elim games at in-game, and they're getting those bonus placement points. That's why they're moving up the board so fast and ferociously.
For Vadil, Noah Riley, only really is wins that are keeping them in this game. If they're not winning, they're having very, very, I would just say, middling performances throughout. It's like 11th or 17th rolling in throughout the day. It's not looking too good when you look at their team if they don't win games.
And to talk about it and put it in EU respect, like it's like, what will Wolfies look like in game? What would CRR look like in game? You know, what are those aggressive known players? What will they look like in game? And we're getting a taste of it. And we're just seeing that if you go do your homework, VOD review, they kind of tweeted out, we figured out a plan, and they're executing that plan so beautifully right here.
We're joining in slightly late also onto this game number 10, the fourth one of the day. So a lot of people have already moved off of their spots. They're rotating and the zone's coming in fast. I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, Forza aren't in Lazy Lake and we just started casting? No, this is all the way in a mid-game rotation, and their tags are looking a little bit low, but this is where they actually end up doing the damage. This is going to be a very good spot, but it's going to be shared alongside Fusion and Nexus down below. They love knocking on your walls, and then up top you have Scram, Putrick. We're desperate right now, looking for more points, looking for a way to get back into the competition.
We're talking about what does a trio need to come back. Thomas HC, Flick, and Anas have to have that pop-off game. They've been denied 2 times in this FNCS tournament. 2 times their signature pop-off game, holding on height, losing it at the very last moment. We saw the misplay by Thomas HC with the med kit here. Now, Reason, Noah Riley, the deal in trouble right now. Things are coming to this trio that they're facing is no slouch. They've been taking out big names throughout the past 2 days. And if they add Noah Riley, Reason, and Badil, which they have done in day 1, that's going to be the big blockade, slowing them down from making their movement. This is the 4th place team right now battling. I'm taking a look at the board. They're facing the 9th place team.
This is just so scary from all angles. Multiple Knights on the low ground. They're so tough. No chance on any walls to kind of escape. There's a trio on all sides. Siptos on one. Anas firing away from the backside all the way up top on a hill 2. Nems Bubak on ways, as you mentioned, Sancho, not stopping the pressure. No Riley, Reason, and Vidil. They might just drop down to patterns. They won the last game. They might be going out early in this one.
This happened in game 2. Last time they got pinched, they were attacking Hen, and then all of a sudden, Floki's trio pinched them and wounded them, and they went down to a duo. So if they could solve what they did, the mistakes that they did last time, they could be able to keep pushing up their leaderboard. They did that by switching up a layer to staying away from that crazy low ground that's happening right there. But it's still, we have to keep an eye on them. That's what happened yesterday. All of a sudden, they just getting knocked down to a duo on that transition between early to mid game.
And now we see Anas, Flick, Thomas, Hen, Janice, and Chapix on the same hill. Noel Riley, Vidil right beside them as well. The top 3 from your last FNCS making a similar type rotation. It looks very similar to game 6 of last season as well. So slightly, you know, the zone that's kind of central going towards the south. It could pull out the Steamy, who knows? But Anas, Flick, Thomas, we were talking about them a little bit before as well, Sancho, when we were looking at, you know, how are things looking for them overall in these 12 games. Last season, after 9 games, they were looking a little bit worrisome as well. 4th place overall. They needed to come up and they got 2nd. They're now in 6th. They're looking for that climb up as well. We'll see if it's possible. Meanwhile, the big pressure from Bubak is too much to handle for Noah Riley, Reason, and Vidil. They go down once again, and it feels like the pattern will be true for this team. It's always a win followed by an early knockout. Noah Riley is still once again hanging on the ropes. You can try to see if he survives and plays for a little bit of placement, but they're kind of deep in this game. Reboots are very difficult to kind of take away when you're so close to so many trios. It should be wrap-ups for that squad.
If there's a solo that you want in that trio, it is Reason. Reason finished 7th place in Chapter 2, Season 3. So that is going to be interesting to see what Noah Riley can do as a solo. But Anas, Flick, and Thomas HD, who have a great day 2, have yet to have that. They're doing okay, but not by their standards. And now you're seeing in the feed Blasters, who just finally survived, save it down there in Weeping Woods, not make it into the middle game right there. But Ryan, Lanouf now have to deal with 2 of the Titans of the region ramping right over them, and they're not moving. They don't want any piece of this pie, but oh no! Chapix and Flick are colliding right here, and Chapix gets knocked. That's Hen. They're trying to move up the board, but Thomas AC is trying to catch them from their ankles so they can't climb any higher.
6th versus 7th. They're really, literally clawing at their ankles right now. Anas, Flick, Thomas HD, making sure there's no chance that they get any higher. They're going to keep moving forward, and this is going to be such a tricky rotation, Sancho. We've been looking at wide shots of this entire zone. There's so many trios at key angles and locations. There's nowhere to really stop. Flick, Anas, Thomas HD have to keep going. They can't slow down.
And the ramification goes beyond just eliminations. Now that Janus is by himself, the solo champion here has to hold on as much as possible. I was going to say Chapix is that in-game leader. He kind of puts Hen close to him, but now Janus is feeling the lobby pressure, and it's just too much. Nas, Thomas HD, take him out.
They got the Elim. My question is, if they stolen the energy too, there's always one type of pop-off game that comes through with Flickanos Thomas HD, and it usually happens when a top team goes down as well. This could be that game. We're on their kind of home territory on the right side of the map. We'll see if it's possible, but there's so many different trios, shoulder to shoulder, side by side. Savage, Repsguard, and Dreda are kind of gatekeepers here too. That's Thinkbo. Sancho, you were talking about it. It's rolling through.
Noah Riley gets an elimination, so Noah Riley is still on his feet, adding valuable points to the board here, especially now that we're seeing the top of the board a little bit in shambles right now at the moment. So Flick, Thomas, AC, and Nas, you're right. They're in their home turf here. We all know when there's a game on the line and you are the home team, there's just a little bit more pressure considering that the zone sometimes won't favor you. And I think for the longest time, this is the first time we've seen an East Coast zone in this FNCS EU tournament.
That's very, very tough. Last time we were watching yesterday when Game 4 rolled in, it was Lazy Lake we were looking at. This time it's going to be Dirty Docks kind of, or at least the mountain where the grotto used to be. Savage and Jenna Refsguard trying to take away the life raft that was basically thrown to Anas, Thomas, HD, and Flick, trying to get them out of the top 10. They're saying, no, I'm going to deflate it. There's no way we're letting you sit in this base rent-free. You're going to have to pay a little bit of tolls with your HP pools. And yeah, those things really bled through these builds. You can see Anas's HP, it's still slightly low. Thomas was on at 40. They have to pop a med kit to get all the way back up. They have to make this rotation down too. All that healing lost them a lot of time, and now every single trio is looking at them. But because they move first, and now these guys are moving late, they have a lot of different builds to kind of block the sight lines. They can just reuse them over, save on their mats as well. This is a pretty good angle as long as they don't get shot.
And along their way of this rotation here, very treacherous. You see Savage right there in the distance. We've been seeing Savage just rain down those think bows, getting those valuable Storm Surge tags that way. Triple, Elocrats right in the distance here. Shakos and Gray close to height, but I'm just guessing EMXR is at height actually with Podosite. Very, very cool to see them again.
Whoa.
Welcome to the tournament. Now you see Jerky Trulix as well at height as well.
And if you look over at height for just a second too, that split is absolutely insane. You have, I think, MXR on one of the mountain peaks.
Yes.
And then Podosite and One Last on the very other one too, so they have so much control. Endelec's popping off against Nate in the feed. That's a top 3 team getting affected by some people who are way, way down on the leaderboard as well. Now, Trulex undersurged. Their entire team found some big tags. They're also looking okay for now, but in a desperate situation.
We're seeing what happens here when the FNCS on the line, former teammates could go back and forth here. Of course, Andelix and Nate being the duo's champion. Now they're kind of go into this battle here. Now we're getting closer and closer to the end game. It's all determined where Zone 5 pulls. And hey, all you people that invested in this mountain real estate, you're going to have to sell it. You're going to have to move up north.
Absolutely. And every time there is a mountain inside these end games, it's always the top trios that end up suffering, who are pushing for that real estate, who get kind of trumped down and then don't actually have their builds worth anything when the zone moves back and forth. So I'm really looking at the top 7, the top 8, and how they handle this zone. Historically in EU, every time high ground's a thing or there's a big mountain in the way, all those big trios suffer. You saw it happen in Game 6 yesterday. You saw it happen in Game 1 as well. It's so unexpected on what you have to do to survive these big zones, the big height. It's going to be tricky. We're alongside Kiriachi, Stormy, and Toos to see how they rotate.
Everything's going to be low. Builds are going to be low. If you hold on to height, you're going to run out of builds. If you're on low ground, you're going to run out of builds. If the zone keeps pushing further and further away and there's no bounce back, expect this game to end up and wrap up early, as you already see Queasy's trio already making a stamp on height. No surprise here, but let's go back into the ground. Look at the gravity of the situation that Flick and Thomas HD and our Nas are facing. Now Thomas HD and Flick have to go as a duo, Shio. This is not going to be easy because it is Savage and Dreda there at their front doorstep.
And Dreda actually gets hit by Flick's harpoon, so big shots and wow, pulled before the wall comes down. Siberia knocked down by Flick. That's a huge elimination for the points. Big for the mats too. This trio has been bleeding on low ground ever since Savage saw them. They haven't stopped the stinks. They haven't stopped the pressure. Sancho mentioned it. Their builds so low. Their teammate down, Anas, one of the clutch gods, not going to be there to see the end of the game.
Man.
And their builds are on fire. Luckily, it's metal. It's not bleeding to the floor just yet. It is. and they have to go all the way into a corner. They can't really build another box. Look at Flick's mats. There's just 140 to work with between both teammates. Oh my goodness.
This is not fine. This is not fine. Now the zone does pull their way, but they're going to have a tsunami of trios pushing right over them. And the one that's riding, surfing the top of that wave crest is Queasy's trio. They've already committed to this height here, but they have to go back and chop out who's holding it. And that was Podesi's trio who late rotated through.
They're setting it up. They could possibly actually remove all of height here. It might be just one more floor that's connecting, but no. A quick drop down. Smart from MXR. This man must have the best headset in the world to hear that from that distance. He reconnects. Meanwhile, you're talking about surfing. We're not going to be surfing waves. We're surfing on the side of a mountain right now, Sancho. This is going to be a very tricky zone for all these low ground teams to play. I'm worried for Savage. We're already stressed about Flick, and they also have no mats. So up on height, Queasy is still trying for it. Here comes the big retake. Blocked by a floor. He has to waterfall down. MXR was hit, though, by Trulex, and oh my god, he's completely down. Marine picks up Floki on low, but it looks like Queasy, Trulex, and Turkey have height again. The retakers on EU. They might be the best in the world in doing it, but their mission's not done yet. Kiriachi wants a piece of the pie, and he's going to the sky.
Denied by Trulex, though. They have height. Time and time again, the theme for this trio is holding on height. They already have a victory royale, and they're right now in second place. But we all have to keep an eye on the low ground. Revsguard and Dread and Savage are still doing well. And when they're on their feet, they're not only going to get placement points, but the potential to rack up elims here. But the story is going to go back up to the height here as we focus on in. They've only had 3 eliminations, and they could hurry up. If they could get into the front, they could stop everybody that's trying to get to the front side of the storm and just get more and more eliminations. But look at how much this is so claustrophobic right now for Savage and Dread and Revsguard. Revsguard on the sliver of HP, and now Savage without shield is going to retreat back into the shadows and just hope that the storm just gives them a moment just to breathe a little bit longer. It is the first place on the line, and there is that big sigh of relief as Savage gets a huge siphon from Marine.
He has the HP, but didn't grab the mats. Revsguard goes down. Right now, we're in the underworld of this end game. Another big shot from Savage. He takes down Void and Dread on the backside, but he's inside zone, getting tickled in the back, but it doesn't feel good right now. Savage down, and then a clap. That entire trio's taken out. The bottom side of the zone has been invaded by the high and mid ground teams. Queasy and Trulex, we didn't forget about you. Let's wrap up this game.
In a blink of an eye, they had low eliminations, but now look, they have 8 eliminations, and they're gonna get another one. 148 Elo Crash. You got greeted by the big shots right here, walking out of Storm, and now Queasy's just gonna get enough of the little builds. It's a top 3 situation.
The 25 HP rock shot. Queasy, what a big strategy right there to get that elimination. After that, more elims and siphons come through. 2-man situation on height right now, but they're at the advantage. It's a 2v1. Snazy is back and looking to try to clutch this from low. He has lots of builds to work with, but the pinch is too strong from the height god team. Retakes, pressure, and strategy you can't expect. Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky are amazing at this game.
13 eliminations and the victory royale. The adjustments are ringing true, and we're seeing what height is doing in this meta. Last season, it was the low ground teams is getting these high number eliminations and the victory royale, but we're seeing that the air is a little bit cleaner on height. They're able to have that endurance. They're able to outlast the low ground, and that was a phenomenal performance from Queasy's trio, Shio.
Yeah, and that was just such a strange game for all the low teams. It was so tough to play. Zeke, Levin, and Reese need to break that one down. There's definitely things to talk about in that game.
Guys, I said it a couple games ago. These guys are the high ground kings, okay? I don't understand. They're not even in high ground, okay? It's like, all right, this is it, the tail of the competition. They're like, oh yeah, look, there's a trail above us, no problem, yeah. The moment they start to move, that's it. Queasy, he's up there. Kiriachi was like, oh yeah, I'd like high ground. That seems like a good idea. No, Queasy was like, no, here's one floor. Stop, don't move. And they were like, all right, sounds good, man. You got it, whatever. I don't understand, Reese. I don't get it. I don't know how.
It was the chop play that really did it for them. Obviously, they saw they weren't on yet that 5th zone. They chopped it out. They managed to just get it from there. And like you said, you know, we did see Kiriachi's team going for that. But you noticed that I'm pretty sure Trulex had peppers at that time because he flew ahead. If not, he was just ahead of the game, flew up, took height from there. But one of the big notes to know about that game is we've been talking about this team repeatedly having low eliminations over and over. Every single time on the first day, these guys had 3-4 elims, pretty much none come to movement. I think there was an 11 or 12 elimination game there, which is significantly higher than normal.